thought I would do an online dating update. I'm on 3 different websites right now, or I should say apps. And I'm finding that I get a lot of messages and I choose to either not respond, or if it's someone who's like messaging me that doesn't have a picture or a profile or whatever, I just automatically delete them. Or if they say something wildly inappropriate, I just automatically delete them. And then a lot of times I'll respond back, and then if they respond in like a weird way, I end up deleting them. Also, a lot of what happens is I will match with people, and then they will either not send me any message at all, or we will interact a couple of times and then the messaging just stops altogether. So that's kind of like where that is. I did have this one message from this guy that started off nice. I was like, oh, hey, where are you? I'd love to come and meet you. And then it was like, so you could wear something sexy, and then I'm gonna taste your whole body or something like that. And I was like, geez, no mystery there. Like, geez, why do you have to be so aggressive? So I did message sleeping at desk guy, and I was like, hey, haven't heard from you. You have my number. Pursue me. Before I said pursue me, I messaged him and I was like, you're either married, gay, not actually interested in dating anyone, too busy working, not really into me. There was something else that I said. And then he had responded, yeah, I'm definitely into you. At which point I had said, well, you have my phone number, pursue me. And I have not heard from this guy ever since. So sleeping at desk guy is not going to happen. Then I messaged Automized guy, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be at my roommate's work. I'm going to have a drink. I told her I would stop by. I was like, if you want to meet me. He didn't respond until the next day, and basically got into this whole conversation about cleaning his house. So he doesn't want to date me, but he wants me to clean his house. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I have a new cleaning client. Like, okay. I'm cool with that, I guess. So funny. So I met this other guy who was up here for work. I didn't realize he was only up here for work. He actually lives in Connecticut, and I was like, well, how's that gonna work out? Like, I don't get down there that often. You don't come up here that often. We're just gonna have to be friends. And he's like, yeah, I'm cool with being friends. I was like, yeah, you could be my next, like, best man guy friend. He's like, yeah, that's awesome. And proceeded to send me about 600 selfies. So I'm kind of like, okay, he doesn't really want a friendship or a relationship. He just wants somebody to tell him that he looks good, that his pictures are good. So we were messaging back and forth for a little while. He seemed really nice, but that's stopped. Met this other guy, Brown Sugar. He's wicked cool. He's a DJ. He was kind of like, have you ever dated a black man before? And I was like, no, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't. It just the timing just has not worked out for me in that aspect. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like, that's kind of a funny question. If I liked your profile, like, wouldn't that mean that I would like to date you? So we were messaging for a while, and then it just kind of tapered off. So I don't know if he met somebody else or what happened with that. Meanwhile, I reconnected with my friend who I've known since I moved to Portland. He was a customer when I worked at Starbucks. There was a little flirty chemistry there, but he was married, so obviously left that one alone. And then by the time he was getting a divorce, I was married. So this is the first time that we've both been single. And you know, we've had a couple of messages back and forth, and the thing is, he's so crazy busy. He's like insanely busy with work all the time. And he's like so diplomatic. He's like, you know, I don't want to get into a relationship with somebody if I can't like commit, and I don't, you know, I want to make sure like I'm there 100%. And I was like, look, I just want someone to take me out for coffee and have some platonic man snuggles. I was like, that's all I'm looking for. You don't owe me anything. I don't want a relationship. Like, let's just get coffee and have some snugs. That's all. That's all I want. I don't really know what's going to happen with that, but I'm kind of guessing nothing because he's so busy. I mean, this guy is like, I would be very surprised if we ever managed to have any interaction other than maybe coffee for an hour. He just keeps himself that busy. So last weekend, I went out with Sherry on Friday night because I unexpectedly did not have my kids, and she took me bar hopping, which I don't really do anymore because I'm too old. And that was fun. Kind of quiet up here, but it was fun. And then her sister's friend was very handsy, but in a respectful way. He kind of like put his hands around my waist and on the small of my back a lot, but he wasn't, I mean, he was very respectful about it. And honestly, I was like, it feels nice to be touched. I mean, I don't know, as long as he's like not grabbing my ass, you know, like I can deal with that. So he asked me a bunch of times if I was on Facebook and trying to, I guess, reach me outside of that night that we were hanging out. And I was like, I'm not on Facebook, and, you know, like I don't have that stuff. So, towards the end of the night, we ended up going to Sherry's friend's house, and that was quite hilarious. He was super nice and chill, and he actually ended up telling Sherry's sister that he thought I was cute. And I have to say, out of all the guys that I met that night, he's the one that I would actually hang out with. And grabby hands guy was like, hey, so am I going home with you guys? And I was like, first of all, Sherry has a boyfriend. Second of all, we're not lesbians. We're not going to have a threesome with you. And, like, what in the world ever gave you that impression that that was where this night was going? Because we did not allude to that in any way, shape, or form throughout the night. So, bold move, guy, but sorry. So then the following night, I went to a Halloween party with her, and I wore this ridiculous costume, this lederhosen, and it was like really short, and I just looked like stupid. But it matched her outfit, which was wicked cute because we're roommates. So I went with it. And I met a guy there, and we did not interact at all other than just meeting. And then I came home and he had left me a message through one of the dating apps. And he was like, "Didn't I just meet you at that Halloween party?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh. Yes, that was you, because you didn't talk to me the whole night. And why didn't you talk to me the whole night?" He's like, "Well, you were sitting in the dark corner," which is true because I was tired from going out with Sherry until 3 o'clock in the morning, which I'm too old to be doing that, Sherry. Too old. Talking to you. I just wasn't myself at the Halloween party. I was like very quiet in the corner, didn't interact much. And I was like, you saw me on an off night, because normally I'm talking to everybody and getting to know people. And that night I was just like chilling in the corner. Anyways, so we were talking pretty much all the way up until today. So for a solid week, we spoke on the phone every night. We texted back and forth every day. He was like, "I want to know everything about you." And I was like, "No, you don't. Like, trust me." He's like, yeah, I want to know everything about you. And so I like told him all this stuff. And then, you know, today we were supposed to go out. We had plans for like the whole weekend to do all this different stuff together. And I was like, you realize, like, I don't want a relationship. I just want to date. I just want to meet people right now. I don't like want to really. He's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. But he was so nice and so intriguing. I was like, I'm just going to roll with it. And we're just going to hang out all weekend. We had all this stuff planned. And, you know, I must have overshared, because today he texted and he was like, it's not going to happen. And I was like, you know, why did you get to know all this stuff about me and ask me all these questions? And we spoke every day, all day. And now, like, how do you build up a connection with somebody like that? And then you're just like, no, we're done. It's not going to happen. I was like, I thought after like all of that, we would at least have some kind of like friendship, you know? And he's like, oh, well, I never said that we can't be friends. And I was like, you know what, dude? Like, you opened up to me. You told me your life story. I chose to take that information and not judge you. And then you're going to like take information about me and make a judgment about me, and then not like even give me a chance. So I'm like, it's cool. Like, you don't even have to be friends with me. I'm fine with that. Like, it's just crazy, you know? How do you get to know someone that quickly on that type of level, and then you're just like, nope, nice talking to you. Like, take care. Have a good life. Like, all right. I guess glad I found this out now before I became more emotionally invested. Well, then, like, maybe do yourself a favor and not get to know someone that quickly and that well in such a short span of time, because when you decide that you're not going to pursue it, like, that other person is left hurting. Just saying. So I have decided that I have the Black Plague. You know, those people who are like, their skin's like hanging off and they have like all these boils, and people are like, stay away from them. Like, don't even breathe the same air because you're gonna get tainted and die. And that's like my dating life, because I've had probably 7 dates, I think, so far lined up that I haven't actually gone on. So I'm like the Black Plague girl. Stay away from me. So Halloween guy, I'm super bummed about it because he seemed, I mean, so I guess my choices are maybe brown sugar, although I haven't heard from him in like 3 or 4 days. So I'm guessing that opportunity has passed. Maybe possibly guy that I've known for like 15 years. Maybe if he ever like isn't working. But it seems like that's all he does. So, and maybe possibly like a cool chill guy whose house we barged into at 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I haven't really heard much on that front. So as far as I can tell, those are the only slight possibilities. But I just don't know about this online dating thing. I don't know about dating in general. I just find it's exhausting to kind of like put myself out there, and it's strange to me to have these interactions with people and then it just falls by the wayside. It's kind of like you order a Big Mac, you're so delicious, you eat it, and then you throw away the wrapper. Like, I'm the wrapper. And today I knew that Halloween guy wasn't going to work out because I hadn't heard from him all day. So when I went to Subway by myself to get myself dinner, I saw this random guy who was sitting there who had beautiful hair that reminded me of my brother's hair in high school. And I was like, hey, do you mind if I sit with you? And then he's like, yeah, sure, I'll never say no to that. And I was like, you have the most beautiful hair that I've seen. You remind me of my brother in high school. And he was really nice. He has a daughter and I think a wife or a girlfriend or whatever. And we just chatted and it was fine. It was like nice to just have interaction with somebody else. And like, there was no, you know, it was just like 2 people that just met and they were interacting and having dinner. It was nice. So that was my big date on a Friday night, going to Subway by myself and eating a sandwich with a stranger. What? Because I'm so freaking cool. Yep. So that's what it's like to date when you're 39. Have a good night.